Kangapan Angola and Tulsa, we had tens of thousands of people there. And they were all chanting, Hyunjin Mu, Preston Mu. They're all chanting. And he was saying, he was gloating about this. I was thinking, what are you thinking? You know what I mean? Show a little humility. I mean, it's not like you built that foundation, right? It's like when I was world president, it was me like going to Nepal and saying, "Oh, I met the president. There were thousands of students coming out and coming to see my lake." I mean, that's the Nepalese foundation. I didn't build that.
Father did everything.
That's all because of Father. I mean, it's crazy town to believe that you built that. But of course, he's not.
He was supposed to be the king figure in relationship to you.
Well, and he was under Hyojong. He was the able figure. But then when Hyojong passed, he became a king. But he could not humble himself with Father's decisions, and you can see that's why he stole $1 billion. Of course, which he's burnt through a lot of it. But still, providentially, he's less heretical than her mother. Yeah, he's still less heretical, which is incredible. It's unbelievable.
He's an 82-page document of showing how the Chung Kingdom had been.
But I mean, he has serious issues. I love him as a brother, but I can't. Obviously, I can't work with him. I can't respect him. As a leader, not a person. He has serious problems.
But he criticized Han Mother. What's going on? We were wondering.
Yeah. I mean, he knew. I mean, Hyojong too. All the boys. Hyojong too. She was deeply against him. Against Hyojong, trying to have it because really she saw any of the boys if they received a successorship from Father, it would supplant her, it would replace her. Because her real desire was for her to become that.
But she was really encouraging Father at the time of your thing, right?
Well, that's because they were in a fight with Hyunjung. So the reason why and I think God used it in the end, because she ended up giving her blessing to my wife of true mother in that whole ordeal. So God used it without her knowing. She gave away her blessing.
Father pokes her like he can't remember her name.
And so it's like, it's like a rental. That's literally what happened. But she was in a state of like panic because she saw the clock group was going so big. So she said, okay, we gotta hurry up and support him to get rid of that group.
I mean, it's one thing that's so more and more obvious. It's like you and Hoopchin and we keep hearing stories and other things come out from the internet. Everything corroborates. Everything.
Because we're not lying.
Is right because you're telling it. But like with Hyunjin himself, that things were off, but then his way of dealing with it was.
Well, he tried to centralize power under himself.
Yeah.
We didn't do that. We didn't try to centralize power.
I mean, this was even at the time when he was the European or the world COP or SDF, like this type of youth leader.
Always trying to centralize.
Like that.
Him and Kwok, they're fanatic about centralization.
Like our son at that time, he was there.
So that's why they're totalitarian. They build totalitarian.
Yeah, I've been wondering 20 years ago, how come Reverend Clark has so many responsibilities? Like as
Well, Father gave me all of them. Father gave me a responsibility over everything. I mean, he gave me. I had to be international president of the church. HSA, FFW, all that. International president of UPF, which is a major outreach organization. International president of Youth Federation. International president of CARP. International president of every single organization Father put into place.
What else besides
UPF, Youth Federation, CARP. Women's Fed was under us. It wasn't. I wasn't the head of the International Women's Federation, but it was under us, under the head. And I was the president of both of the Korean Church, legally as well. So Father put literally everything under. Everything Kwok had, he put under. And then all the business foundation he put under Kukchin. I mean, that is massive.
So it's pretty clear from Father's perspective, you guys were supposed to continue in all of your roles after his ascension.
He
So
did.
he had already set it up
He did.
while he was alive.
But they acted like, oh no, he had to earn. No, he already
He
had
already
it.
had it.
Yeah.
He had it.
And Father was
Already
pleased
had
with
Father
what you
moving.
and Cookton were already doing.
He was allowing every single decision to break up the lobby, break up the lobby groups, break up the tyranny inside the Cookton business groups. All that was approved by Father. Bring the systems of KPI over the ministers, which they gave hell about. You know, because they were not trying to serve the congregation. They were trying to create a welfare state for the union. And we had to break that up. We had to consult. We went from 400 churches to 200 churches, and that's because some of these churches were just one block apart. And the ministers would create the system so they can, if you get in that group, you can have a welfare chain. You don't have to care about Japanese members under you. You don't have to care about your congregation. You don't have to care about anything else. All you got to do is just support your life. It had become so cool. And you know, when we get there, the ministers of Korea are saying, we tithe to the church, and everybody else should tithe too. So we look into it, and their tithe, what they're calling a tithe, is they're putting that money in a healthcare, and calling it a tithe. And I said, wait a minute. Every member has to pay their own health care, has to pay life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, everything else. And on top of that, they tithe, and you're calling this a tithe? You're lying to yourself. So I said, I'll show you, I will give the first tithe as a minister. And so I forced them all to give tithes. Because they're the ones who are telling the members to give tithes. Well, then you should be giving tithes. Right? So they would become a superclass. They had become an oppressive superclass, which basically can oppress members. And they were very abusive Japanese. Some sisters got raped under them. Some sisters were sexually molested but had no recourse. Okay? Many of these ministers were so low quality, they were alcoholic.
Oof.
Yeah. Kukjung, that's why Kukjung would go incognito. That means with his hat on, without announcing, he would show up on Sunday and hide in the back and just watch how they do. The pastors wouldn't come out. They didn't have a sermon prepared. There was no care for the congregation, zero. You know, so when we did the restructuring, we had to let go about over 130, 150 ministers. They were outraged because we were breaking up their units. You know, they wanted to kill us. Oh, and it was such a, really they're the dregs. They're the most abusive type of Koreans you can get. Because there's really good high quality Koreans. Like that Kukjong brought in from like these, you know, corporations like LG and Samsung. Very professional Korean men. Very professional. So they're just like working with other professional people. You know, we got the mafia, you know, like the Japanese members, like in Korea, they had to live under like literally mafia Korean level. You know, it's like living under a gang boss. You know, you have to go to church there, and you get abused. They would just. It was terrible.
It was under the guise of restoration because the Japanese had to make good on what
Yeah,
they did.
it was always you Japanese people have oppressed Korea, etc. So that was the excuse to abuse
Was that
them.
necessary? I mean...
No, and there was not. Your father would care so much for Japanese members. This had become institutionalized. So what we did is we started breaking that up.
Who was the president before you?
He was so
left the district.
He's super corrupt. Very
He
corrupt.
was involved in some kind of sexual misconduct.
Correct. When he was in Korea, the information on the prostitute that he was having sex with came out. There's a dress of the woman and the woman herself. And he's part of the ring. He was part of a sex club ring, which now Mother has put all those leaders as the top leaders of the world church. Okay, and these people are the ones they ratted each other out when it was helpful. And now it's coming to bite them in the booty. See? So really, you can see the epitome of Satan is just conglomerate.
Not quite. That's the thing in the world out, like in Austria, you just hear the public speeches from Father and the picture on the wall. There's no idea. No clue.
That's why you're saying that Korean members know a little bit more.
When those, especially Japanese who live in Korea, they have lived under oppression of these arrogant, narcissistic Korean men, very low quality, who are just on power trips, just abusing them because they're part of the union. So it's so pitiful. So when one of them's, nope, not gonna allow us to go, we start breaking that up on our knees, screaming bloody murder.
Father must have been aware of all this stuff that's happening.
Well, Father didn't build that organization. Father didn't build it. He had left to America, and the different Korean leaders like Kim Il-sung and these people had created that kind of total fraudulent welfare state, union
Father wasn't
state.
totally aware of
No,
that.
Father was not. He did not build it. Father did not build those structures.
Wouldn't the